Hello, I'm Zardus, and let's play City Skylines. So, welcome to Fairview Shores. This is a city that we're building without the use of any mods or assets. And if you're new, please check out the first 2 episodes and get yourself caught up on the series. And if you're not new, then thanks for coming back. And either way, everybody please take a moment to hit the like button on the video. Okay, hopefully you did that, and if you are not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Now, one thing you'll notice today is that the format is a little bit different, and that is because I recorded this whole episode and then realized after I finished that I forgot to turn on the microphone in the software, so it didn't record my narration, which is a bit disappointing because my commentary was pretty good, I thought. But anyway, so there's a few things I wanted to do this episode. And first, you're going to see that I wanted to expand the farming area because we have a bit of a industrial demand, and you may have seen me check the employment percentage there. And that's because I like to keep an unemployment level of over 10%. And that, here I'm checking it again, that makes it so that you have more people wanting to take lower education jobs because they have no other option. And so that's one way that you can avoid the not enough workers problem. So that's one thing I wanted to check. So then here, another thing I wanted to do this episode was expand on the commercial area downtown. I like that we have this one long road of commerce for this little town. It seems very realistic. And here I'm just adding in some trees to, now I'm turning off the day-night cycle, just to fill in that little space there because there's not going to be anything going in there, and the trees will make it look a little bit better. So then I'm adding some walkways here to give that town, or give those people a way to get to this main road a little bit better, and that makes the city a little bit more walkable. So next, let's see, what am I doing now? I'm checking on the industry again, and we still have a lot of unemployment, so we're going to be adding more farms here, I think. Or I'm just waiting for the workers to fill in, and we'll see what happens. I do want to, there we go. So one person brought up the point that as we build more farms in there, we're going to put more traffic strain on that road coming out of there. And I think we'll be okay because they only have one intersection to deal with, so we'll keep an eye on that intersection. And then if it does become an issue, then we'll devote some time problem solving a traffic issue. So another thing I wanted to do was I wanted to add a high school because we don't have one yet. So I picked out this area over here, and you'll see where I put it here. We don't need these power lines anymore. And I put it here because it seemed centrally located, and I liked how that looked. I thought about adding a side road to get to it so it wasn't on the main street there, but I decided that would add another intersection, and I didn't want to do that. So now I'm filling in a little bit more in this space because we have a lot of residential demand, and really right now I just wanted to fill in the empty gap there. And I think I'll do it on the other side as well. Maybe not just yet. Yeah, so I'm excited to hear what people are thinking of how the series is going. I want to see, or I want to know what you guys are working on too. So leave a comment about what city you're working on, or if you have a YouTube channel and a series of your own, then feel free to link to it so I can check that out as well. Here I decided to add a different tree because I was getting a little tired of the oak tree. And this one does add a little bit more height to the tree level in the city, and I was happy. I think that's the vanilla pine tree. Checking the employment percentage again, and I feel pretty good about where we're at. So I don't want to add more industry yet, and we're going to fill in this neighborhood here now. I've got a little bit of lag here doing my recording. I'm not sure if that's going to show up on your end. I apologize if it does. Okay, so now it's adding in these, I'm filling in this neighborhood a little bit. And now, so let's see what's going on next. Man, I really wish that my commentary had recorded. I think it was much better than what I'm doing here, but that's okay. We'll get that next time, and I do apologize for that. So last night I saw the new Planet of the Apes and thought that was really good. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but you might want to check it out. So I'm checking out the city here and looking at how we're doing. I think what we're going to do next is maybe either add more farms or we're going to expand into a new neighborhood. We're checking the education there. We're about half capacity with we're just going through and looking at all the different things that we have. Eventually, yeah, here I'm talking where I was talking about fire safety and how you need to have the coverage of green, and the areas that are green, the buildings will get the benefit of the coverage, and they'll level up from that. But if there's a fire where there isn't coverage, it will send the fire truck out to put the fire out. So we're not going to add anything just yet, even though we don't have all that coverage. I'm not too concerned. So we're going to wait on that for now, because it costs money to have more fire stations and police stations and things like that, and I don't want to spend it just yet. So then we checked the traffic, and it all looks pretty good still. And we're going to keep going here for a little bit. Just kind of watching, seeing how things go, and just kind of waiting now to see what we do next. So the population, the employment is lower, so now we're going to add those farms that I mentioned. We'll just add 2 blocks there, I think. Yeah. And now we're going to see that industrial demand go back down, and I think we're going to add a little bit more commercial in here. Eventually, I want that area at the bottom to be a park with a little monument, and then some walking paths along there. I think it'll look nice. Yeah, now we're filling in this little space in the middle, trying to be a little bit symmetrical to the other side. I mean, we're using a different tree than we used on the other side, but that's okay. Now we're checking the employment's going back up, so now we're going to keep adding. Now we're fixing. We need more landfill, and I think I extend the road back here. It feels like a very landfill area, so we're going to do that. I'm going to leave the one full, and we're just going to keep adding on. And now I'm trying to figure out when we get the incineration plant, because that'll be a different difference maker. And when we get the incineration plant, then I'll start emptying the landfill. So what I find is here it's at the 5,500. So then I know that, okay, so that's not too far away. So now we're going to add more residential because we have a high employment percentage. So I want to add more people so that we have a higher unemployment before we add more jobs for them. And now I'm just trying to make this neighborhood look a lot like the one on the other side of the main road. And I'm doing that same idea of the 2x2 houses as a goal. I'm really stretching the road off to the right because I want that main road to be, I want this neighborhood to fill quite a bit of that space. And then I want, I think I end up putting a park in that little triangle area. We'll get to that. But so now I'm making this a little bit more walkable. And one thing that here I'm explaining, and I take a moment to kind of digress a little bit to talk about suburbs in the United States, where sometimes you can have a really windy suburb and then have it neighbor another windy suburb, and you could have houses that are back to back, but the people have to walk or they have to go like 5 miles to get on a road from one house to the other. And so it's not very walkable. And so what I like doing here is I have walking paths so that we can get from one spot to another very easily without them having to walk all the way around on the roads. And I see that I have a little issue I need to solve in the next episode where it seems I have houses built on walking paths, which is kind of weird. So we'll make a note to look at that next time. So now I'm just connecting the neighborhood to the main roads a little bit more. And I'm happy with that, how that neighborhood turned out. Now we're going to maybe come over here and I don't know what I'm checking here. Oh, I went to check something. I can't remember, but I do remember that I had some lag because of the game auto-saving at this point. So that's why we're just kind of sitting tight for a little bit of time, and I'm trying to fill in the gap as much as I can. So yeah, I think I mentioned here that I saw the movie last night. I think I mentioned it twice now in both this re-recording and the original recording, but oh well. Okay, so now we've auto-saved, and I think I was still talking, so we're just sitting still. Okay, so now, I wanted to see when we get high density. Although what I like to do, and here I'm explaining that as well, I like to build out before building up, because you have all this space, and you can see that we're like 3 or 4 milestones in, and we haven't even finished the first tile yet. And so it just makes more sense to build out before building the more expensive, taller buildings. And I think that's more realistic as well. So here I'm adding another neighborhood. I want it to mirror the other one, and I skipped ahead and did that off screen. So one thing I want to do is this neighborhood will come pretty close to the industry there, and you can see I checked the pollution, and I don't want the houses to be right back up to the pollution, so I'm moving a little bit of the industry, and hopefully that'll allow us to fill in the houses all the way up to that road. But I think we can't quite do that yet. You can see there's a little bit of pollution still in there, so I think this episode we don't quite make it that far. If you have pollution where your houses are, then you end up getting health issues, and it can put a strain on your healthcare system and stuff like that. So one thing I want you to give me input on is what to do with this little peninsula here. It has that rock there. I'm not quite sure how I want to zone that, whether I want a bigger road going through there or a smaller road. Not quite sure what to do with that. So give me your input, and we'll figure that out. So now I'm deciding to put this park in over here because we have we have one park on the other side of town, and we don't have anything over here. And so our leisure is really suffering. We need a lot more parks. So here I'm going to add a small park there and make somebody move, but make everybody else happy. So then we're going to add walking paths so people can get there and get to this other road, and make it look a bit more pedestrian friendly. And then add some trees in here too, I think, to kind of fill it in. So now I'm checking the land values going up, people are leveling up, and that park is really paying off already. So I'm going to put some bigger roads along, or bigger houses along here, mainly because we're near the water, and I think that'll be those houses will be worth a bit more, and I think that kind of fills in that spot. And then I build a little bit over here, but then I backtrack a tiny bit because I do want like I said, a park along the shore there, a bigger park. So now we're checking employment again, and we're in pretty good shape. I think we're coming to a close here. So if you could give feedback on that peninsula over there, yeah. And then we still have 2 districts that need a name. If I don't get a name from people before the next episode, then I'll come up with something myself because I don't like Hickory Heights, and I think I can't remember what the other one is, but we'll figure that out, and hopefully you'll come back for another episode and let me know what you think. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.